So the Chiefs are holding on for dear life, hoping for the slim chance to be able to sneak into the playoffs. Well, that all starts with a win on Sunday, and something that could definitely help their chances is getting back a very key piece on offense via a perfect example of what I would call addition by subtraction. So I'll break down what's going on with that by looking at the injury report by both teams, actually. Then I'll talk about what KC needs to have happen in order to even make the playoffs. The bright spot that is Esapole, the team's lack of plans for running back Dameon Pierce, and more. But first, how about those? All right, so after KC's fourth loss in 5 games, they are up against the ropes and very close to being clotheslined out of the ring entirely. They do still have a chance to make it to the playoffs, but the chances are pretty slim, around 15, 16%, and they still need a few things to go their way. For starters, they just have to win their remaining 4 games, or I do not care what the percentage calculator says or if they're technically mathematically eliminated or not. It's over. You can't make the playoffs at 9-8. You just can't. Not when the AFC West is this competitive and there's no shot at winning the division. Now, if the Chiefs played in the AFC North this year, different story, because the 7-6 Steelers are first in their division. Meanwhile, even if KC was 7-6, they would still be third behind Denver and the Chargers. And yeah, I know the AFC West has been weaker in years prior, but the last couple of years have been more competitive with Sean Payton in Denver and Harbaugh in Los Angeles. So it isn't really that surprising, all things considered. What's surprising is the Chiefs on the brink of being eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2014, especially considering they have Patrick Mahomes in his prime, and they literally just made it to 3 Super Bowls in a row and have previously won the AFC West 9 years in a row. Anyway, on top of winning out, so the Chiefs winning their last 4 games, the Chargers also need to lose 3 of their last 4. Had the Eagles beat them, it would have only needed to be 2 out of their last 4, which is a bummer for sure. But now it's lose 3 out of 4, and 2 of those have to be against the Chiefs, and the Broncos on week 18. This is a tough one because if the Broncos have nothing worth playing for week 18, like the Chiefs last year when they had the 1 seed locked up and a win or a loss didn't matter, they could rest their starters. Or there's another scenario that could play out where if the 1 seed isn't within reach, win or lose, they could still rest their starters since they wouldn't have a first round bye regardless. If that happens, the Chargers are absolutely beating the Broncos week 18 and KC is donezo. So the most ideal thing is to hope for the 1 seed to still be in play between Denver and the Patriots, and the Chargers to have already lost to the Chiefs and 1 or 2 of the remaining teams that they have to play. If that happens, from there, the Colts just need to lose a couple more games, which they will, given their quarterback situation. I do not care if 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is there and slinging the rock, which is insane in and of itself. He hasn't played in 5 years and is not going to help them win games. That is the most simple explanation I have right now of the playoff picture for the Chiefs, but none of these scenarios matter if the Chiefs do not win their last 4 in a row. The coaching staff and the players, they know that, which is why the locker room was a very quiet and somber scene after the game per the local beat reporters in attendance. The playoffs are no longer theirs to reach without help now from other teams. Travis Kelce said today during his podcast that it's been a tough couple of days because of all the work that they've put in, yet they've fallen short on multiple occasions, and the current playoff picture is a tough reality for them to be in. He talked about his drop at the end of the game and said he put all this work in to be there for his teammates, and on that play, quote, I just wasn't. To be fair, it was not the easiest catch in the world to make, right? But he's made plenty of catches like that throughout his career. Mahomes said he could have put the ball more on Travis's body. Meanwhile, Trav said he could have just caught the ball. The online debate about this one play, it's a bit too extreme for me because the truth is what Mahomes and Kelce said. It's football. The throws won't always be perfect, and players get paid to make tough grabs. Sometimes they do, and other times it just doesn't work out. It's tough, and yeah, it freaking sucks. There were 6 drops in that game in total, with Rice's 4th down drop being the gut punch for me. That's his 2nd drop on a crucial down in the last 2 games. Andy Reid was asked about this today, and before honing in on Rice, he just said in general, the drops are uncharacteristic of the guys that normally have solid hands, so they'll work through it this week at practice. It's back to catching even more and preparing for the Chargers. Regarding Rice specifically, Andy said Rashee is a tough dude, a young guy with a lot on his plate. He's powering through it, and while the drops are unfortunate, it's not due to a lack of effort or focus from him. He's had some good games too, but the drops are not a normal thing. And the context to me behind the Rice stuff is sometimes we forget that he missed I think like 22 games between injury and suspension, and those lack of reps were indeed costly, still making up for lost time. Now, I'm not making excuses for him because you definitely need to catch those layups, but zooming out like this wide angle you're looking at now for context is helpful at times. Now, the playoff picture I just described to you all and what needs to happen for KC to win, Andy Reid was asked if he looks at all that stuff, and he basically said no. He lets Veach look at that. Quote, "I've been here before. You just push the outside noise out, bear down, and go. Just win the game at hand. That is the focus." Mahomes admitted they are in unprecedented territory for the first time since he's been here. The percentages aren't high, but he always wants to win, saying it would be special if they can get into the playoffs and make a run, but it starts with winning on Sunday against the Chargers. It does help that they're at home, and the mindset of everybody on the team is just to do whatever it takes on offense, defense, and special teams and find a way. Their backs are up against the wall, but if there's a chance, they're going out there fighting. And from here, I've got to get into some encouraging injury updates, Mahomes and Andy weighing in about the Texans' loss, as well as what can be improved upon as they get ready for the Chargers on Sunday. But first, if you are looking for work boots that are both comfortable and durable while also an affordable price, then look no further than to the sponsor of today's video, Brunt Workwear. I personally sit in my basement every day and make videos, but there are a ton of you who listen to videos like mine while out on the job. You see, trades workers play a big role in the US, and Brunt Workwear makes the most comfortable work boots on the market that feel great straight out of the box. Brunt work boots are made for the toughest sites out there, holding up in any environment, and I can't lie, these boots are very comfortable if I do say so myself. And get this, Brunt Workwear is so confident about the quality and comfort of their boots that they let you try any of their gear on the job. If you don't love it, just send it back. It's really... Oh, my toe! Just kidding. It's really as simple as that. And maybe you yourself wouldn't use awesome boots like these, but you know a friend or a family member who would. Well, these would make a great gift for the holidays. Just saying. Hold on a second. Hello? Oh, discount? Yeah. To get some of the most comfortable boots I've ever worn, just use my code HBTC10 to get $10 off your first purchase today by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code that's up on screen. Again, try them on the job, and if you don't like them, just send them back, and don't forget to use my code HBTC10 to get $10 off your first purchase. All right, so Andy Reid gave some positive injury updates for today, noting first, though, that Wanya Morris, knee, and Jawan Taylor, triceps, are not going to be practicing. Wanya Morris suffered a serious knee injury that ended his season per report, so that is not surprising. Andy Reid said his knee is going to take some time, but I think if it's not today, it's going to be sometime here very soon. They're going to place Wanya Morris on IR, which will open up a roster spot for somebody else to be added. Maybe it's CJ Hansen or just another lineman from the practice squad. But that is unfortunately going to end his season, and it's just a tough way to go out for him. Jawan Taylor, meanwhile, he's one to watch with the triceps, because if he doesn't upgrade to limited or better yet full at all this week, they will once again be down several tackle options. So the question from there is, would Jalen Moore stay on the right side where he's not as solid? Meanwhile, Esapole, who had a pretty fantastic game against Houston in his first ever NFL start, would he hold it down on the left side, or would the team swap them both? With Josh Simmons out, as well as Wanya and potentially even Jawan, that feels like the way it'll go. Esapole on the left and Jalen Moore on the right. However, if Jawan Taylor can play, then it's most likely going to be Jalen Moore at left tackle and Jawan Taylor at right tackle. We'll keep eyes on that, though, throughout the week, as we should also keep eyes on Trey Smith and Trent McDuffie. Trey's ankle is improving, and while Andy didn't promise he would play, he noted they're going to give him a go this week and see how he does and how he responds. I will say, if Trey Smith can go, it would be a huge boost, because Mike Caliendo is the weakest link along the line, and I'm not sure that it's even close. Well, it looks like Trey Smith could be trending in the best direction possible, because he was a full participant at practice today. And then regarding Trent McDuffie, he will also practice this week, and they'll just see how the knee responds as they ramp him up. He hyperextended his knee on Sunday like Wanya Morris, but in a much less serious way. And while he is sore, he's going to test his limits this week, and he was a limited participant today, so that is something to track throughout the week and see if he trends up or not. If Trent can't go, you're going to see Noel Williams and Jalen Watson primarily on the outside, and probably Chamari Connor in the slot once again. And then here's a few other observations from today's injury report outside of Wanya and Jawan Taylor. Hollywood Brown was a DNP today, but it was not injury related. He actually missed for personal reasons that are most likely simply an excused absence. Then Mahomes with the knee. He was a full go once again, so that's some good news. He didn't seem to aggravate it too badly in last Sunday's game. And then Nico Remigio, after being placed in concussion protocol after or during Friday's practice, he was listed as a full go today and seems to be trending towards playing. Worthy handled punts in Nico's absence, but I'm sure the team would rather Nico be out there since he's been doing it all season anyway. Those are the main takeaways for the Chiefs injury report. As for the Chargers, not going to read a lot into it, but there's a couple players real quick worth mentioning. I'll first start off with Darius Davis, their returner. He's dealing with an ankle injury. He retweaked it in some capacity, I believe, in their last game, and he was questionable to return. So there's that. But then look at this one. Ladd McConkey, their wide receiver 1, was limited today with a foot injury. This happened a few weeks ago as well. He was actually limited on Wednesday and Thursday with the ankle, upgraded on Friday and ended up playing. So I'm pretty sure Ladd McConkey is going to play. But again, that is just worth noting because he's their wide receiver 1. Meanwhile, their offensive line is very banged up. And Trey Pipkins, one of their tackles, like tackle 3 on their depth chart by the start of the season or before, because Rashawn Slater had a season-ending knee injury, and then Joe Alt with the ankle, they're both out. So Trey Pipkins was one of those guys. Well, he's probably not playing. We'll see, but he's dealing with an ankle injury. So you got a banged up line, a wide receiver 1 worth looking at, and we'll see how that all plays out later this week. Anyway, from here, I do want to circle back to the bright spot of last week, Esa Pole, because Andy Reid was asked about his return to the team and how that all went down. Well, if you remember, Pole was a fan favorite during training camp and preseason that many were pretty surprised and upset by the fact that he did not make the 53-man roster during cutdowns. Well, Andy Reid said, it's all a balance game. You've got to balance the numbers there for roster cutdowns, and he made it seem like they were hoping to get him on the practice squad after he cleared waivers. However, he got poached by the Jets, so Andy said when he got unpoached, aka let go by New York, back in October, they poached him back as quickly as they could. And yeah, Pole was a true bright spot on Sunday. He allowed only 3 pressures on 41 opportunities. And this morning, I actually watched back every single snap that he played on the coach's film. And was he perfect? No, but he had 0 reps with the first team offense prior to this and had only been back with the team since October 25th on their practice squad after getting let go by the Jets. And he was fantastic out there. It was a great showing from a guy who got signed to the active roster just last week when Josh Simmons was placed on IR, and he's definitely got a future with the Chiefs in my opinion, whether it's battling for the right tackle spot next year or maybe the swing tackle in 2026. We'll see. It's really a conversation for another video, and honestly, we need more than this very small 1-game sample size to truly know, but Andy Reid was proud of how he battled. He was asked if Pole would be up again if Juwan can't go, and said, yeah, if Juwan can't go, it would be nice to see him again if he's the one called upon. I like how he said if he's the one called upon, like they really have anybody else left. He showed nice things for sure, said Andy, but it's always a challenge after there's some tape out on you. So that's going to be a key. You got to get in there again and keep practicing and detailing your work. Now, Mahomes said regarding the O-line, they did a great job on Sunday, especially considering they were down multiple starters going up against that elite D-line and didn't really know how things would go. He then added he's got to give that line more chances because they're holding up for him so he can give his receivers more chances down the field. And I kind of took that to mean he just says, hey, I need to trust them more and flee the pocket a little bit less. Tough to know, but that's the vibes that I got from his answer. Patrick also said he missed some throws in this game as well. So yeah, it wasn't only the drops, but everybody talking about outside noise. They're all roasting Mahomes for his performance, looking at his completion percentage, his INTs and all that. But if you actually watch the game, it wasn't just on Patrick Mahomes. Yes, he missed throws and needs to keep improving on the little things to keep the drives going, like taking a check down rather than throwing a deep INT to Hollywood Brown, for example, and being more strategic on when he does attack down the field. Regarding the struggles against man coverage, a theme for KC's offense for most of this season, Patrick said something interesting. He said they need to keep giving defenses different looks and different things to give their guys better opportunities to get themselves open. They've done it before, so they need to prove it again as defenses adjust and showcase they can beat man coverage as well as zone. Well, he's not going to say it, so I will. The offense is stale, predictable, and therefore easier for defenses to game plan for, and the Chiefs' offense has less answers to the quote-unquote man coverage test. Sure, the Texans' defense is elite, don't get me wrong, probably one of the best man coverage defenses in all of football, but this isn't a standalone issue, not a one-game issue here. Some of it is for sure on the coaching staff and the scheme. That's not going to change all that much this year. Then some of it is on the receivers that they have. Rice isn't a true wide receiver one in the sense of a full route tree with the ability to excel against man and zone. He really thrives against zone, as does Travis Kelce. Now here's something else interesting that Andy Reid said today. He was asked about Dameon Pierce, the running back recently signed to the practice squad, and his expectations for him. And Andy said he's still getting acclimated to everything here. He's sharp and into it, but there's no injuries going on in the running back room, so the guys that know the stuff are playing right now. Translation, he's most likely not playing this season unless, this is just my opinion, the Chiefs are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. If that's the case, you got to shut down anyone nursing injuries. I would think Worthy is at the top of the list with the ankle and the shoulder. He might need shoulder surgery that's going to take a solid 6 to 8 months to recover from. And then you've got to give young guys chances for more reps. That could be Esapole, Jaden Hicks, who barely plays right now for whatever reason, linebacker Jeffrey Bossa, running back Brashard Smith. You've got Ashton Gelati along the defensive end room. And while we're at it, why not call up Dameon Pierce from the practice squad and see what he has? Because why the heck not? Can't forget about Christian Fulton, who's been a healthy scratch almost all year, and the rookie wideout Jalen Royals. Shoot, throw in tight end Jared Wiley while you're at it. Playing time for all these guys is only going to help them get experience under their belt for next season anyway. But honestly, I hate the fact that we even have to talk about this and hope that isn't the case. My hope is KC wins these next 4 games and they still have a shot to get into the playoffs, even if it's by the skin of their teeth. But that's where I want to ask you guys, what is your confidence level on that? Do you think the Chiefs can win out? And on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you actually say, hey, 8, yes, they're winning, or 2, nah, there's no chance at all? They are favored by 4.5 over the Chargers for what it's worth. And once again, nearly every analyst is picking the Chiefs to win at home via a very close game against the Chargers. Do you think that actually happens this time, or nah? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?